Hi, my name is MG, and this is Crash Course U.S. History. Today we will be learning about the space race and the moon landing. Breaking news! The Soviets have launched the first ever satellite, Sputnik, into space. How will the government react to this? Millions of Americans watched in 1957 as Sputnik took off, unsure of how to react. Sputnik was the first ever space satellite to be launched into space, specifically by the Soviet Union. The United States became fearful of the Soviet space power and decided to act on it. In reaction to this bold move by the Soviets, President Eisenhower made the decision to create Rocket Vanguard TV-3. But the U.S. disappointed its citizens and made a fool of themselves to the Soviet Union and the world. The United States was a laughingstock. Headlines across the world read Flopnik and Kaputnik, worsening the embarrassment for the United States. However, the U.S. military had something up their sleeve. In 1958, on January 31st, the United States successfully launched the Explorer. The ship was sent into space to orbit the Earth. Americans were in the race, but not for long. In 1961, the Soviet Union was ahead of the game and sent the first man ever into orbit, Yuri Gagarin. This Russian astronaut went up on April 12th and now lives his legacy as the first man to enter space. Yuri Gagarin left Earth on April 12th in 1961 in his spacecraft Vostok 1. He was the only passenger in this ship and he orbited around the world. Again, the United States was convinced they needed to step up their game, so they got to work. Another important fact about space travel is that the first woman to ever enter space was Russian and goes by the name of Valentina Tereshkova. That sounds like the mystery document. I wonder what it could be. Thanks, Stan. The people of the United States share with the people of the Soviet Union their satisfaction for the safe flight of the astronaut and man's first venture into space. We congratulate you and the Soviet scientists and engineers who made this feat possible. It is my sincere desire that in the continuing quest for knowledge of outer space, our nations work together to obtain the greatest benefit to mankind. My guess is President John F. Kennedy. You're right, MG. This was a telegraph that was sent from President John F. Kennedy to Chairman Khrushchev of the Soviet Union, congratulating him on his accomplishment of sending Yuri into space. In fact, after this seemingly nice telegram President John F. Kennedy sent, the United States launched Mercury 7, also known as Friendship 7, into space with 7 passengers. The ship launched on February 20th in 1962. The Americans were back in the race. Let's take a look to see who was inside of Friendship 7 when it orbited around the Earth. The first Americans to be in space include Alan Shepard, John Glenn, Scott Carpenter, Gus Grissom, Gordon Cooper, Wally Schirra, and Deke Slayton. Now, all that's left to find out is who's going to put the first man on the moon? For that, let's go to the thought bubble. The United States pulled to the lead of this race and sent Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to actually step foot on the moon. Here is live footage. Let's recap. The first ship in space goes to the Russians. The first man in space also goes to the Russians. First man on the moon goes to the United States. Overall, the space race and the moon landing were both political aspects of the Cold War. The United States feared the Soviets' power, thus creating a seemingly never-ending battle for the upper hand.